So, how do you build wealth from nothing? I have to say that this is the number one question I hear again and again. Lots of different forms, but same question. Today's video, I'm going to lay out 7 tangible and easy to do steps that allow you to do just that. What qualifies someone like me to guide you to build wealth from nothing? Well, at the age of 56, I realized I pretty much had nothing when it came to saved money. And today, 4 years later, I've been able to save over $170,000. Now, I realize it's not millions of dollars. I'm not some of the gurus on YouTube and other places who have been able to put away $1 billion in 6 months. But the steps I'm going to be showing you today, the 7 tangible steps, are things you can do that are realistic. They don't require you to become a rocket scientist. They don't require extreme amounts of luck in business. They don't even require you to get far out of your comfort zone, but they do require you to kind of change the way you think about money and your relationship with money. That's why I think I qualify to help you in this area. I want to help you start by taking the first step, and that is maximize how much you make. This is a big one, but I'm going to summarize it for this video. Comes down to exactly what you heard. Figure out how you can maximize how much you make when you make it. You can't grow more hours in the day. You can only do so much work in the day, as a matter of fact. There comes a place where you just can't put any more time into it. So learn how to maximize the time that you have. Ways that I found, and I've been able to increase almost double my salary in the last 5 years, is getting more training. And also, while I'm getting more training, learning where my best training efforts should go. In other words, I could train to do other specialties, but it might not really have a strong benefit. Look for the specialties that you can do that will significantly increase your salary. Also, consider looking up and boning up your resume, looking across the street. Are you getting paid fairly where you're at? Or should you be moving across the street? Needless to say, maximize how much you make. That's the first step. The second step goes hand in hand with the first step, and that's learn how you can minimize your expenses. Now, you're going to have expenses that are hard and fast. You got to pay your rent or your mortgage. There's no way around that. But do you need all that life insurance? I agree you need life insurance when you don't have any money. You need to protect yourself financially, especially if you pass away or something like that. But you need to also make sure that you're not overinsured. You want to look at your car insurance. Is it the right amount of insurance? Your house insurance. A good example. We had to make a claim on our house, the house we lived in previously, and we got penalized for it over the next 3 or 4 years. Our insurance raised to an incredible amount. We were paying close to $700 a month for house insurance. And I was thinking to myself, this is not right. This is too much. We used to pay less than $300. Needless to say, I contacted the insurance company and got told to shut up and put up and pay out. I didn't like the answer, so I did a little shopping when it came to house insurance and talked to an insurance broker and found out that I really only had to pay about $330, pretty close to what we were paying before. And it covered all of our insurance needs. So check out your expenses. Learn to minimize them. By the time I had went through our expenses, and this is an exercise you need to do often. Every quarter to 6 months, you should go through all your expenses and see what you're putting out every single month. Another example is subscriptions. Do you really need Netflix? Are you still watching it? I know my wife and I eventually cut the cable bill because we didn't watch it, and it was costing us about $100 a month. It just wasn't worth it anymore. We enjoyed our YouTube subscription. We enjoyed our subscription to some other streaming services, but that was it. So we cut the cord on everything else, and we have not missed it in the slightest least. You would think to yourself, now, doing all these things, is it really going to make a big difference? It does. We've reduced our expenses over the last few years by over $1,400 a month. And that's $1,400 I wasn't putting it into somebody else's pocket. I was putting it into my long-term savings instead. And we could see our long-term savings just start to stack really quick. So first one, like I said, maximize how much you make. Second one, minimize your expenses. The third one is you need to learn how to pay yourself first. Now, it goes without saying, when you get your paycheck, you think, well, Frank, I just got paid. But how long do you hold on to that money? Or are you just a custodian of it for the pay period? In other words, are you handing it to somebody else and at the end of the pay period, you got nothing? You were just a custodian for that money that you received, let's say at the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month, it's all gone. So make yourself an expense on your budget and learn to pay yourself first. This is the magic right here. Now, you're not going to get rich tomorrow, and I'm going to be blunt about that. But over time, you can get crazy rich. I'm a living example. Just by paying myself first, after I had maximized my wages and minimized my expenses, I'm putting away so much that I've saved over $170,000. And really and truthfully, I've done that in about 2.5, 3 years. I had to correct a lot of other things as part of minimizing my expenses. I didn't really get deep into that. One of the things I did do to minimize my expenses was I sold this big house we had that we didn't need anymore. That's another thing. And that didn't incorporate into the $1,400 savings a month. That's just normal bills we still had to pay. So learn how to pay yourself first. Now the next one is going to make a few people go, huh? But before I share the next one, if you're enjoying this video, give it a like and be sure to subscribe. Really appreciate you jumping on board, become part of the tribe. But the fourth one is start saving money that you'll never spend. Say what? Save money I'll never spend? That doesn't make any sense. Believe it or not, it makes perfect sense. If you learn how to pay yourself first and put it away into savings that you're never going to spend, then what happens is you'll spend the profits from the investment that you initially made. Think about that for a second. If you save $170,000, I can tell you this because I know it. If you save $170,000 and you follow the rest of the steps, be sure to stick around. You want to hear them. If this is money that one day I'm going to be able to spend, and I'm never going to deplete my capital. Because the end game here, if you're really thinking about it, is you're trying to build a nest egg that is big enough that you never have to deplete it. You never have to see it go down. If anything, as you get older and you live longer, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it keeps up with inflation. And then one day you can bless your family, your favorite charity, whatever it is, with this nest egg of everything you've saved. What a blessing that can be to those who follow behind you. But you want to set it up that you never spend what you save. And another benefit of this is you're not saving to buy a new car and then boom, you're back to zero again. You're saving for a long-term commitment to yourself. And that's the point here. Let's get to number 5. Learn to make better investment strategies. You're not going to get this right off the bat. You're not going to understand this right off the bat. It takes time to learn how to invest and get good returns on your investment. And you're going to make mistakes. Hey, I still make mistakes and I expect to. But when you make mistakes, and it might cost you a little bit of money, but you're going to profit much more from them down the road. I've made some horrendous money mistakes that I was like, oh, I can never going to come out of this. But now I'm smarter and wiser, and I can invest better, and I have better strategies when it comes to investing. And you need to build those muscles as well, those investment muscles. I used to only get 1 or 2 or 3% when things were going well. Now I'm approaching 15%, and it's safe money. It's not, money that's just being put on the ponies, and I hope that they win the race. So it's not gambling is what I'm getting at here. I believe that it is an important thing to do. Now, this can look different for every person. Learning how to make good investment strategies might mean learning how to deal in real estate better, or it could mean learning to play the stock market better, or it could mean learning options. It could mean So many different things. But the point here is you want to learn to make as much from your capital as physically possible, because that accelerates how fast you can save. And this is a big one. Number 6, don't listen to the hype. The markets are crashing. Houses are going to fall into the ground. The sky is falling. It's all hype. And I'm going to be blunt about it. Don't listen to the hype. You know something? When the markets do go down, it's on sale. Go and buy more. When real estate goes on sale or when it goes down in price, go buy more because it's going to go back up in price. That's one thing I can tell you, and this is not hype. Over time, everything gets more expensive. And there's going to be days when what's going to be, well, let me give you, for example, our previous house in, I think it was 2018, 2019, we got offered $700,000 for it. Now, this house, in my opinion, was only worth maybe $400,000 to $450,000. $700,000. I didn't bite. I was like, oh, well, I don't know where I'm going to live. I should have bit and taken it because the markets crashed soon after on the housing market. And that house was worth about $400,000 again. We're going through another bubble again, and I'm watching this happen. So I'm riding it out and playing it out. I'm just waiting a little bit longer to see what happens, but I don't get caught up in the hype of it. When I see the markets go down, buy more stocks, or I buy more something called exchange traded funds, ETFs. When the markets go up, I'm happy. I bought a whole bunch of 3M stock and watched it go into the toilet. So much so that I was like kicking myself for buying it. And I thought, no. This is a good stock. I know it's a good stock. My investment strategies tell me it's a good stock. I'm going to sit on it. I'm not going to take the loss. I'm going to sit on it and just watch and see what happens. Now my 3M stocks are up over 20% of what I paid for them in a very short period of time. And that was a big swing, about a 40% swing, which was crazy, but it happens. So don't listen to the hype. And YouTube is loaded with hype. Your friends are loaded with hype. Whenever you hear hype, you got to think, I bet you the opposite's going to happen. And I'm seeing it again. What happens is a lot of gurus on YouTube or so self-proclaimed gurus will say, oh, the markets are crashing. This is the year of the market crash. Hey, you know something? They might be right, but you know they might be wrong. I went and looked at the markets, and from my training I had in the stock market by learning good investment strategies, I looked at the market and I disagreed. I was like, actually, I think the markets are going to rise. Well, the markets have risen a lot when I since made that prediction. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to be right all the time. Sometimes I'm totally wrong, and sometimes the market surprises us. But that's okay. I'm in this based upon my investment strategies for a long game. And I don't care what the values of those stocks or ETFs are. I care about their dividends. Just to give you a heads up, I'm primarily a dividend investor. And I want to reap the profits of my dividends because I don't want to sell my stocks or my ETFs. I want to hold on to them. I might shuffle them around to get better returns, but overall, I'm going to stay in the market for what I'm in the market for. So if that makes any sense. So don't listen to the hype. Number 7, this is a really important one. If you're still with me, you want to hear this. Learn to trust the process. This is not a dash. It is a marathon. I tried a million get-rich-quick schemes over the course of my life. And I probably spent $1 million trying those million. And I didn't get rich off of nothing. Now, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you do well. But if you don't learn all these other things, then it doesn't matter. If you make millions of dollars, billions of dollars, it doesn't even matter if you win the lottery, for crying out loud. How many people are poor after they win the lottery? I don't know. I've heard statistics both ways. But the truth of the matter is, I do know that if you don't learn how to handle your money, you ain't going to keep it, plain and simple. So learn that this is a marathon. You got to do all the steps I've mentioned. You got to continue to try to earn more. You got to try to continue to reduce your expenses. You got to try to learn how to pay yourself first all the time. You want to make sure you make good long-term investments. You want to become a better investor through better investment strategies. You don't want to listen to the hype. You want to trust the process because the process will guide you. It will not lead you astray. Only you will lead you astray. And boy, I've led myself astray on many occasions. But one thing I have learned that if I would have started doing this and even just putting a little bit away every month, let's say the day after I got married 30 years ago, I'd be a millionaire multiple times over. No doubt about it. I could have made a whole bunch of other mistakes and lost a whole bunch of money in a lot of other places. But my nest egg that I have been putting away to and paying myself first to continuously over a long period of time would have made me a millionaire several times over. No doubt about it. So I hope this helps. Now, let me ask you a question. Remember in the first strategy when I said you need to maximize how much you make? Did you know committing yourself to building a successful side hustle can really help you out? I have put out a video recently, which you can see on the screen right now, that talks about how you can start to build a successful side hustle that can start to pay you a second salary. We all like that. Trust me on this one. This is good. This is very good. Be sure to check that video out. And thank you so much for joining me today. This is Frank Thomas, and hey, let's get rich. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.